Happy Tuesday. There's Red Dog. How you doing, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. A lot of stuff has happened since we last met. I think we met on May, in the middle of May last time. And so just wondering, what do you see out there? What do you got? What do you want to start with here? I'm hoping you'll talk about the spy. Perfect.
There's a spy. Look at the size of this moon. I think when we talked in May, I don't know exactly where it was, but just let's take a little step
It was
back.
May 19th. I looked it up.
Okay, very nice. Very nice. Well, I will say some people like Red Dog, when did this active sequence to the upside start? Because everyone's talking about how everyone hates this rally and how it's an E-bottom and it's so hard and so difficult. But meanwhile, if you use our moving average rules, really right here is when we gapped above the 8 and 21 day, and here is when the market confirmed it would hold it on April 30th. So to me, this active sequence started on April 30th.
Okay.
Then it kind of got a little wishy-washy coming into June, where we came in, lost the 8 day, but right here is when it got re-energized. And I'll tell you, I did my best during this sequence. Sometimes like different sequences are different stocks play with different sequences, or maybe you're just in a different mind frame. I know this one I did okay, but this one, I got to believe my entire community crushed it. We had so many different money trades. I'm at the highs of my year. A lot of guys are friggin' going to Sizzler each night to have some dinner, and all is well.
Okay, good Sizzler mention right there. Good stuff. So let me ask you, where do you think we go from here? I had opened up today's show because I felt like yesterday's day was kind of ominous, if you will. Hey, pretty strong in the morning there, and really just kind of gave back a lot of the stuff over the course of the session. Where do you think we go from here?
I reduced, like the last few days, I've been a little wishy-washy. Like, I don't want to get caught in one of those leg sweeps where we're down 1% or so, which we could be, or even a move back to the 8 day or to the 21 day, which we held. So, right around 11 o'clock, I looked at the market. We're up like 250, 300 points, and my P&Ls came off their highs. I actually went red for the day. I'm like, either my stock selection right now is bad or something doesn't feel right. So I reduced some positions that I had as, trailers that were up a lot over the course of the past 2 weeks. I reduced some things I was uncommitted to, and I just tightened it up a little bit. I also, sold a little bit more premium. I sold some, 631, 632 calls just in case we just even relax and pull back, to the 8 day. So I reduced a little bit. I'm trying to be a little bit more selective just because, I don't want a leg sweep here, and it's July 22nd. I haven't even rested. Red Dog, I was supposed to be in Israel. That got canceled, so I wound up being here every day. I haven't had anything more than, a half of Friday through the weekend where I was in some kind of basketball tournament eating friggin', Buffalo Wild Wings and Outback. So I need a few days here. So I'm hoping.
No Red Dog sandwiches, huh?
No Red Dog sandwiches in Baltimore. They did have cheesesteaks, but they're like famous. I'm like, that's not a famous cheesesteak. Who puts cheese whiz? That's like fast food friggin' cheesesteak. I'm just saying, like, my Red Dog sandwich has like real cheese, jalapenos, onions, mushrooms. It's on a real bread, not like, some stale friggin' baguette. But anyway, so I feel like
that's going to go crazy. We end up talking about food every day. We wasted no time here today. We didn't even get to the open before we got to it. So that's good stuff.
Wait, so who's getting mad?
Well, I'm just saying every day we end up talking about food and like we're all hungry. I'm currently in my fast, which really doesn't end until like 2 p.m. today.
Me too. Listen.
Yeah. So it's just like every single day we don't even, I appreciate it. I'm trying. It's the summer. It's golf season. So we're doing push-ups in the morning. We're getting out in the rest of the day.
Awesome. Love it. You got to take some time. So anyway, I was just saying, like, so come, after you have huge moves in the market like this, part of your job as a trader is to keep your money. So if all of a sudden you start pushing it in August and you give back, 20% of your, of whatever you made, I get paid quarterly, not monthly, for the quarter, then not only do you lose that, you have to make that back before you make higher highs, and you're not enjoying yourself. So I think everyone should enjoy themselves a little bit this summer. And at this point, a lot of the money moves have happened. We're going to get through earnings season. So far you haven't missed anything on earnings season, right? The banks were decent. Yep. They didn't rally. I remember Goldman was up 10. They brought it in. It's still hanging here. So you didn't have to be in an option play for Goldman. It still looks pretty good, though. This could be a good barometer of risk. Like, as long as Goldman holds 691, you could be in it. If all of a sudden it starts to break, you'll know that things are priced in. Same thing with JP Morgan, priced in. Sideways, didn't break out again. And then even Netflix, came out, was a pretty solid print, but because this has been making higher highs, they sold it down and it's here. So if you had an option play, you lost money. If you looked for a Red Dog reversal yesterday post print, you made money. So I'm just saying, don't be in a rush to do things just to do things, especially if you have a lot of money banked. Just do things that you think are compelling.
Okay. I do want to ask you really quick about TLT, if that's okay. I think the last time that we talked, we were looking at maybe a bounce from around 85 on the TLT, and we're still kind of sitting right here at 86. So I guess my question is that setup still intact? Can we still look for TLT higher here?
There's no money there. I look at it as a barometer for rates. A week ago, TLT looked like it was heading back to 83.30, and that was when the market was under pressure, because that means rates were heading to a new threshold high. So to me, what's important about the TLTs is it got out of the danger zone. So that means that's not rates aren't going to pressure the tape. Other things might hit the tape, whether it's tariffs or this or that. But right now, it's not rates. If you want to play to the upside versus 84, it's like molasses. There's 1,000 things better you could trade as friggin' as a trader, but it's always good to know what the TLT is doing, because when it gets to different thresholds, the computers are programmed, to buy or sell. But right here, it's kind of a neutral and a nothing.
Okay, so this just seems like not necessarily a good trade, kind of dead money, more of an indicator than anything else at this point.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Okay, the other three stocks that I wanted to ask you about today, you're welcome to talk about any stock that you have set up here, but I did want to ask you about your thoughts on Dash, Uber, and Tesla. And you can do those in any order that you want. I know that these are active trades here, and I just want to see what Red Dog sees in the charts.
Well, Dash is a new name for me. I've been on this, actually, it's almost a birthday, at August 8th, when Dash reported, and we had the bottom of the market, and it friggin' ignited. There are some funds out there that are like, listen, Dash is misunderstood. It's going to be a stock that's going to be special for the years to come. So I started to get to know this stock. So if you look at Dash, basically go back to the weekly chart. This is what I posted, a bunch of different times. Like I showed the cup and handle. It was right around 144. I didn't really start trading it, in here when it first started. I needed to get to know it, but I started to get to know it at 144, and look where it is, building a bull flag right into where it came public here. So to me, Dash isn't done. Dash still just got back to where it came public, and it's got a lot of runway ahead. So Dash is something that should be on every trader's go-to list. Recently, they sold it down a little bit because it was so strong in the first half, but now it just rebuilt. I would say actively, if you now break down the time frame, it just held the 21-day, and you could have been a buyer here versus 233 now. Actively, you could be long versus 237, and I think in time it takes out that 248. So Dash has been absolutely unbelievable. A new name, something that my community is doing very well with. Uber, I don't trade Uber really well, to be honest. It trades counter to Tesla, counter to this. It's probably fine. It held a 50-day. I'm not going to make believe like I make money here with this one. I don't even trade it that much. It held the 50-day gapped up, kind of making maybe a double bottom versus that. So I'm not going to really add much value there. And what was the last one?
Tesla.
Oh, so Tesla's interesting. Tesla, I was just talking about that because everyone knows that I love Tesla when Tesla's moving, when Tesla has momentum, when Tesla's leading the tape, and it hasn't been. So I haven't been that active in Tesla. But to me, it's kind of interesting because it's not priced for perfection. It hasn't made higher highs. It's not, at all-time highs. It's been like one of those banter debate type of names where, EVs are slowing, but you have AI, autonomous, and this. Elon is in government, but maybe he's not, and he's coming back. So I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna take this. I didn't take any earnings plays, and I usually take a few. I'm gonna take an earnings play in Tesla. I'm gonna buy, and don't hold it against me. I'm gonna buy. The way I frame it is this: it's like, here's resistance, 367. So that's probably where it can go. There's nothing in here. I'm going to buy a 350 by 365 call spread for Friday. So if it has a big gap and goes, and I won't have to, I won't miss it, and maybe it'll be maxed out, and I can make, it's like two times to make, $2.50 to make like 10. So that's a good risk reward.
Absolutely.
And then see, and if it's wrong, I could be mad at Elon for a while, and I'll move on and I'll revisit it. It's fine.
Okay. Really good. I actually appreciate they're giving out an earnings trade ahead of the earnings print. I believe that's Wednesday of next week, if I'm not mistaken.
No, tomorrow.
Oh, Tom, excuse me. Tesla's tomorrow. No, you're right. My apologies. Tesla's tomorrow after hours. Okay, awesome. One more thing really quickly about Tesla. Did you see the new Tesla diner in Hollywood?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, if you go there, you got to let me know. Maybe we'll talk about Red Dog sandwiches out at the Tesla diner out there. You got anything else that really kind of looks appealing to you? Any other charts that really kind of catch your eye or anything like that?
I've been accumulating Bitcoin again. I know the money trade
Awesome.
for Bitcoin was, going into July 4th. And I think everyone who watches the 630 Club or follows the, Red Dog mindset or anything that has the tentacles of Red Dog knows that I was calling for a July 4th Bitcoin holiday. And that was right in here. And thank goodness it didn't happen. It happened a few days later, but all in all, it was consolidating. I was buying the IBIT $62 calls for a move above 112. And it didn't happen for the Tuesday when we came back. So I rolled out to the following Friday. So PS, I double dipped because it worked, for that Friday and the Friday after. Now I was like, I want to, I sold a lot into that. I'm like, let me buy as long as it holds 115. So, Bitcoin is still holding this 115-ish area. So maybe there's another move, which means that, there is some speculation still out there. I did sell my Ethereum though on Friday, thinking that Ethereum, we were buying the $22 calls the same time I was buying the $62 IBIT calls, and what a move. So you don't need earnings to catch a good move in options. But anyway, I think we could be buying Ethereum closer to this 29.23 on the ETHE or maybe here. So I think it's way extended, got way loud. Like, look at these two levels to buy back Ethereum. I don't think Ethereum's done, but it got a little extended.
Okay. All right. Really good stuff there. And I guess the last question I have, do you have any thoughts on NVIDIA or any of the other tech names, maybe Apple? Those, I know Google reports this week as well, but we have more of those next week.
Listen, NVIDIA was a great money trade. Like, I was hyper-focused. I was getting pissed. I broke a few keyboards. No, I didn't. That was when I was 24. But right around here, when it looked like it was going to get above 146 and it was taking its time, I thought we'd get a move between 149 and 153 to new highs. And it took a little time, but Red Dog, because I'm older and more mature, I was like, it's just not ready yet. So I was going out and buying calls. I lost money one week, and then boom, we killed it on this trade, held the 8-day. Now it's just like a massage trade. I'm not that interested. Like maybe today, like NVIDIA is down a little bit. It's down 80 cents at 170. It was as high as 174. Maybe I want to use this more too as a barometer of risk. Does it hold this gap? Does it hold the 8-day, which it's been holding, or does it see lower, which would then give me some clues to have a little bit more risk down, as we go into the end of July and the beginning of August.
Okay. I promise this is the last stock that I want to ask you about. The only reason I trade this is because I watched you trade this literally like a lesson a couple of years ago. It's the Trade Desk, ticker TTD. We've had a huge move down. It sure looks like the bottom's put in. So what do you see here in this chart? Because there's a huge gap that's really kind of staring us down.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I don't trade this that often. It's on my go-to list here and there, to be honest. Some guys in the Alpha team liked it a lot, so I bought options and I made a lot of money in the options. It doesn't seem like it's done a lot since. It's still, this could be like a mini lower cup and handle. It's been accumulated. It used to be like a crowd favorite. I haven't traded in a while. I don't know when's earnings. Earnings are August 7th, so in 2 weeks. I think on this one you could, go out and buy like the $85 calls. If you're going to miss something, you're going to miss a gap fill above, and that means in order to do that, it's getting above 85. So sometimes it does a little bit of a pre-earnings run. So if you think so, buy some 85 calls now and then wait till you get there. And then if it happens to be exciting like the last time and the business rebuilt or whatever, you have a really good trade there.
Okay. Really awesome stuff, folks. Get Scott's free ebook to see how he adds option trades to his portfolio, gunning for 200 to 500% gains. I threw that link in the chat for you. Red Dog, really appreciate it. Glad to hear that your summer's going well. Hopefully we catch up with you soon.
Wait, Ryan, I got to throw out one of those bad promos. Because a lot of people like Red Dog, we love watching you talk about things, if this, then that, just tell me what to do. So I'm just going to say that, we created this product, Power Plays and Power Plays Options, where literally I'm just telling you what to do. Like my note, where it's like my game plan with 40 names and I play 10 of them and you could pick and choose. Or like the Alpha team, you could see some positions, you listen. Power Plays is like, hey, maybe you're not at your desk all day. You know that I'm putting my best foot forward. So it's just like, hey, if you want me to tell you what to do, lately Power Plays have been on fire because I'm like 17 up days in a row. But that's a product that's very cheap where I just tell you what to do. We take it off in thirds. Not all of them win, but at least it's a good setup that I like, that I'm playing, that instead of you having to push the buttons yourselves and say, hey, does he like this one? I just tell you what to do, where it potentially can go, and help you manage a trade. And that's a new product over the course of the last year.
I'll tell you what, man, I wish that there were products from pros back when I started. I had to learn a lot of trial and error on myself. I do think it made me a better trader now, but man, having professional help at the beginning, that's something else. Be sure to click on the link there in the chat. Check out Red Dog and the rest of the Alpha team. Red Dog, we appreciate your time as always, boss.
All right, keep up the good fight.